Hey everyone, we are now currently live on YouTube as well. If you want to be a guest and be part of the conversation, you can come over on TikTok. That's Tim Loss 87 on TikTok. Tim Loss 87 on TikTok. Be a guest. But we're currently talking wrestling news and comedy. So that's how that's going today. We'll get everyone in there going there. Cool. Got everyone set up a little bit better. I'm now simultaneously streaming on both platforms. So that's great. I have a little bit more of a following on YouTube. So I figured, hey, why not do both? I can do that from the same phone. It's cool. Welcome to technology. So that's what I'm doing. Simultaneous streaming on the YouTubes and TikToks. Big news coming out of, we'll start wrestling first. Big news coming out of wrestling. We'll start with Seth Rollins finally beating Cody Rhodes over the weekend, but breaking his arm doing so, or hurting, basically hurting his shoulders. One or the other. We don't know how long it is. We're hoping it's an arm break. Little editor's note on this on my end. Why should we keep putting the title on Seth Rollins? Name one time when the title's not been on Seth Rollins where he doesn't get injured. Name a time when a storyline he we need Seth Rollins to be 100% and he's not. This dude wrestles at like 60% all the time. He's like a creative character that has like a debuff of constantly getting injured. It's ridiculous, and I think a lot more people need to say it. Behind the scenes, so last night the Vision broke up. They hot shot the angle. Seth Rollins, I don't know how they're going to turn babyface. I hate a Seth Rollins babyface, but that might happen. Braun Breaker speared him, and Bronson Reed went in there. It's now the time of the two Brawns. Brawns! Furthermore, a little on the side note, Nielsen ratings have evolved. The way they calculate how many people watch wrestling, they have now added in smartphones and smart devices, which everyone thought was going to be great for wrestling. Turned out to be very bad indeed. Because what we found out is if you're over the age of 35, you probably watch wrestling. If you're under the age of 35, you don't watch wrestling. And if you do, you probably watch it with your dad begrudgingly. The ratings have actually went down, which is very bad because the reason wrestling gets all these money is because it's seen as a sports, and it's always been a constant ratings draw, just like sports. This is now the first evidence to say it is not. So that can be very damning for wrestling going forward. Broader news: AEW. I think they did some flippy shit. I don't know. Probably some flippy shit over there. But I do know I did see a video of Josh Alexander dropping Kota Ibushi, and Kota Ibushi broke his leg. So that's fun. That's fun. For me right now, the Hangman storyline just isn't for me. So I'm waiting for that to be over. I'm more of an MJF fan. And New Japan Wrestling, Takeshi, sorry, I got that wrong, beat Zack Sabre Jr. So that's your wrestling news for most of the weekend. Everything else is still muddling around as we make our way into the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season. In comedy, one of the big things I saw today was Marjorie Taylor Greene, senator. It's on Tim Dillon's podcast. That's a big get for Tim Dillon. Mark Maron finally hangs it up on the WTF podcast. Mark Maron finally hangs it up. His last guest is Obama. I think that's fitting. And then broader terms, because of the 2Ks one podcast imploding, Stavros calling out trans brain as a term, and the Austin city comedy scene being just trashed. Is the Joe Rogan universe finally done? That'd be the news coming out. If you are watching on YouTube, you can come be a guest on TikTok. It's Tim Loss 87 on TikTok. If you want to talk more, you can be there. But those are the news coming out. Independent comics to watch that are out there kicking ass. Dick Dickerson. He's from Ohio. His real name is Dick Dickerson. Check out Ohio, Michigan area. Blowing it up. We got Tyler Snodgrass from Pennsylvania as a Halloween bus. We got Mary Jane from California. She's always a good, funny. Kyle Fields is always very good too. If you see him performing in the area, those are some independent comics. And out of St. Louis, Luis Ariano. Always a good time watching them. Sam Miller's blowing it up. He's a little bit above people. I'd definitely check him out as well as a very funny person. Those are the type of people you won't see on Kill Tony. And if you're in the Alabama area, shout out to the comic blowing it up, Dom Carr. Dom Carr, we see what you're doing. You're making Illinois proud. You're making Centralia proud. Dom Carr, you're kicking ass. We like what you're doing. Again, if you want to talk comedy and wrestling, come up to TikTok. It's TimLoss87 on TikTok. You can be a guest. I can't be a guest on YouTube, but I definitely read your comments if they come through and all that. But those are your main talking points. We just went through wrestling a little bit. We'll talk broader on comedy. Stavros has come out, and you might know him from Come Town. Very good podcast. Like, this is how I know people are really comedy fans, if they know Stavros, the Come Town podcast, and Tom Myers. Then we could be friends. We could be friends. Tom Myers is actually still doing it out there. He's not only doing comedy, he has a podcast, and he's on Blue Sky. So, shout out to Tom Myers. Kill Tony has came out. We're all very excited of the exposure, but is it a good thing? I'm here to say no. Comedy shouldn't be in 1 minute formats. Even at an open mic, it's 4 minutes. Bringing people up not ready to do 1 minute shows no talent, no glimpse in their talent at all. It actually discredits them and sets the people up on a panel to look better. I think it's one of the most predatory things to do. If it wasn't for the Kill Tony credit and maybe at a shot at winning a lottery, which we'll get into that, I don't think it would exist. I think a lot of people would fucking shit on it. Now, here's my opinions. I think all those golden ticket winners, it's fucking rigged, guys. It's TV. It's rigged. The bucket pools are rigged. Like, you can't have a show that makes that much money and not rig it somewhat in your favor. Like, it's just not reasonable. It's how it's going down. So, like, a lot of the people, I think he's like, we were big fans, and he'd be like, William Montgomery or David Lucas, all these people that came from it. I was pretty sure sought after. Tony saw him first, and then like, you gotta come to my show, build it up, because that's how it's fucking done. So, furthermore, imagine you're doing comedy for 10 years, and your big break is, you got almost 2.5 hours of material, but your big break is talking 1 minute about trans bathrooms. Does that say anything about you as a person or as your comedy and your art? I believe Kill Tony is not, it's entertaining. It's great for social media, but I think it's kind of ruining stand-up comedy in the essence of, it's supposed to be the art you show yourself to. It's like, at this moment, because AI is one of the last things to replicate stand-up comedy, at this moment, it's the most genuine art form out there. It's a one person, one mic, their thoughts. Like, dude, I hate to romanticize it, but that's exactly what it is. So, condensing that down to a Campbell soup can of 1 minute, and if you don't do well in that 1 minute, that's it. Like, even Eminem had 90 seconds in his fucking freestyle rap. It just seems it's disingenuous, disheartening, and to me, everything bad about independent comedy and how predatory it is. If you're a guy seeking fame, You'll perform for free. You'll do a lot of things for in hopes of credits, or like what is it, clout and credits, and it's a strictly predatory. Like if some like you get 1 minute, travel 3 hours away, wait in line for 6 hours. You get 1 minute, and then afterwards you might get a golden notebook, and therefore you can get paid $50 more at that bar, and maybe get some bookings. Because that's another, I don't know. We'll get into that. Tim Dillon, Marjorie Taylor Greene podcast. That was a big get. I think that was really cool as well. I thought that was really cool. Mostly because I think Marjorie Taylor Greene's just a little tilted. We've had a lot of people come in here on the YouTubes. We appreciate you, the YouTubes and the Snap Talks. You can come and be a guest and talk to me live if you want. Here, I'll flip the camera. Hey, I'm right here. Helen's at work, where she should be. We got the youngin' running around. But we're talking about comedy and wrestling this morning. So, if you want to actually be part of that conversation, be a TikTok, be a guest. We'll invite you over here on TikTok. You can be a guest and talk more. Mark Maron finally ended 1,600 episodes on his podcast, the revolutionary podcast that came before Joe Rogan, with Barack Obama. Fitting because one of his biggest guests ever was Barack Obama. A lot of people who may be new to stand-up comedy might be saying, who is Mark Maron? And that's when my pimp hand wants to come out of retirement and start twitching. He is a legend. Whether you think he's funny or not, if you're a fan of comedy and look at one of his specials, you can objectively look at it and say, that dude is a master at his craft. And he's still doing it, and still quick-witted, still self-deprecating as ever, and still observational as ever. So give it up to Mark Maron and his run on the WTF podcast. If you're in the Indiana area, apparently on a local scene, Kokomo, Indiana is blowing up with drama. I don't know too much about it. I just know it's been about 3 weeks of passive aggressiveness going on. So Kokomo, Indiana scene, they're getting a little wild over there, I guess. They're having a little drama, which will happen. If you're a comic from Montana, I would love to hear from you. I don't think you have comedy in Montana. I think you have reruns of Yellowstone. I have not met too many people. Is there people out there? Like, same with the Dakotas. Twin Dakotas. We'd like to hear some comics from out there, too. Because I just don't think they do comedy out there. So that's been basically the big news coming out. It's funny with stand-up comedy. It's like not anymore about the specials really so much because everyone has a special somewhere and it's always number one on iTunes because it's not fucking hard. If you have a fan base of a considerable size, that's what it should happen. So that's what I mean. It's hard to get that fan base, but once you have a million, yeah, you should get number one pretty quickly on any streaming platform because everyone's watching whatever the fuck they want anymore. I think comedy in general is going through a flux. I hate to say it, the Charlie Kirk situation, I think, bummed everyone out, and people are still not ready to laugh. On top of that, if you're an independent comedy guy, one of your main venues is bars, and bars are hurting so bad right now. Bars and local restaurants and taverns, even your Elks lodges and your Moose lodges, dude, they need your help. Go in and say hi to them. Yeah, I'm not going to get into political bullshit or any of that. All I know is they're having a hard time paying their bills, let alone getting any extra shit in there. So, there you go. My next show is, my big show's in Granite City, The Mill, November 14th, the Lost Comedy Show. You can actually purchase tickets now for that. It's going to be a great show. We have every comic I was like, some of the best comics this side of the Mississippi are going to be coming in. That's going to be a great time. We appreciate that. So we'll go back to wrestling. Wrestling news was, I just don't get LA Knight. I just want to say that. I just don't get LA Knight. Don't get it. Furthermore, Seth Rollins, he's the champion and he just won a big match, so therefore he's injured. And the Vision broke up on Monday Night Raw. Braun Breaker speared him. We don't know how long Seth Rollins will be out yet. Still developing story. The story I find interesting is wrestling's always been a ratings draw, and the Nelson reports have came out and said, no, it is not actually. People are actually not watching wrestling anymore. They're not watching wrestling. It's not what they want to do. If you're over the age of 35, you might watch wrestling. But if you're a kid, you're not watching wrestling. You're not watching wrestling. It's not something you're doing. And that's what it's showing. The Nelson ratings for a long time haven't had like digital smartphone streams. So we always thought the downtick in viewership in wrestling had to do with that. Come to find out after a little bit more research, no one's watching. So that's a little rough on the wrestling area. It's actually huge news for TNA. TNA's in actually trying to get a new TV deal. And this report saying that no one actually gives a crap about the TV deal. No one's watching it, especially TNA. I see TNA going to a streaming site. I don't see it. We all know if you're a wrestling fan, TNA will never fold up and be gone. It's never happening, but I can see it being on a streaming site. If you're listening on YouTube and want to be a part of the discussion, come to TikTok, TimLoss87, TIMLOSS87. You can come find me and be a guest. But yes, that's the big news. Nelson put in streams and at 20%. 20% deficit. Not good. If you're a wrestling fan, might lead to that. Broader, how are you dealing with the pinch? This is the first month that wrestling fans have had to spend almost $50 or more to watch everything. Because you have to get the Netflix subscription. You have to get a cable subscription for USA, and then you have to buy the ESPN Premium Live plus tax because you like wrestling. But does anyone find it weird that UFC, you just have to get like a Paramount Plus subscription now and you can watch that? Did they flip-flop the models? Because they knew wrestling fans would pay for it more than UFC fans? That's a broader question we're having today. Because they're both owned by the same company, TKO. Did they flip-flop marketing and just financial strategy between the companies because they knew they could exploit wrestling fans more? I don't know. Takeshi beat Zack Sabre Jr. in New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's cool. And in AEW, they did some flippy shit. And Hangman Page whined a little bit. And that was about it. That was about it on the wrestling format. My personal opinions, don't get LA Knight. Jey Uso's the biggest ball drop or push ever. Like, Jey Uso is more Jey Uso has everything that you need in wrestling except for the in-ring activity. This guy has more limited in-ring than Kevin Nash. He's got a yeet, a splash, a super kick, and a default punch. That don't even count. He's got 3 moves. What other moves does he have? Jumping outside? That's almost a default move anymore. So, if you're a wrestler and you're good at everything but the in-ring activity, I think that should still have some effect to it. Like, could someone teach it, maybe do a fucking suplex or something? Instead of splashes and fucking super kicks. It's just, he is a nothing burger. He's more limited in the ring than Stone Cold after the neck surgery. He needs a bigger move set. He needs something. And they need to stop hot shotting his angles. He needs a new move set. He needs to kick some ass with the new move set and give him a title to hold for a while. Where's fucking Gunther too? That should be what people are asking. Where's Gunther? So, Bacon, thanks for saying hi. We'll close out here in the next little bit. We're here on YouTube and TikTok. We'll finish out with stand-up comedy news and be out of here. Stand-up comedy news, Marc Maron finally ended his podcast with his last guest, Obama. 1,600 episodes. Give it up to Marc Maron. You're a true legend in not only podcasting, but stand-up comedy. Tim Dillon, in the vein, and just doing what Marc Maron did before him, brought Marjorie Taylor Greene on her podcast. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a famous loony person that believes Democrats were seeding Florida clouds to win the election or some shit. She usually says some crazy shit, but she actually came out and said this shutdown and what the Republicans are proposing would really hurt the people she's representing and their health insurance. So she went on, Tim Dillon, to talk about that. And furthermore, with the month of just people trashing Austin, Kill Tony has finally hit the peak where now everyone thought he was so cool. He's not cool anymore. Is the Joe Rogan first finally over? It's collapsed in on itself because his head was so far up its ass. We finally see maybe the glimmers of hope that Two Bears, One Podcast will finally end. So that's what we're talking about. Comedy in general. If you're a comedy business, down. Everyone I talk to, down. Small venues, restaurants, bars are all supposed to have a great fall year. Fall's supposed to be our bounce back after summer. It has just been more like summer, which has really hurt businesses. So I don't know if people don't have the money or just don't care. But that's what's going on. Comedy is down. We call it the pre-COVID crash. Because after we were all locked in for so long, that afterwards everybody wanted cheap entertainment. Comedy was there over and over again. And we've been riding that high for 3 years. And now, well, pop. We're going back to grassroots and working harder. I'm not saying people don't want to come out. You just got to work a little harder to get it. And that's all we're doing here. So I want to appreciate everyone that came in on YouTube, everyone that came in on the TikToks. Please like and share. We're going to try to do this more often. But let's see how we do. I have you split some. So, hey, yeah, I appreciate everyone that came in. If you think this is entertaining, oh, you're real upset. I don't know. Appreciate you. We got you, brother, just to make sure. I was going to lip up a little bit longer. I didn't know I had that much views. I didn't know I had that many adoring fans. No, because YouTube is limiting. I can't really bring people up here and talk. So what I'm trying to do, because I have a pretty decent following on YouTube, is bring people over here on TikTok and bring them as guests. That's what I'm doing. So if you have a TikTok account, it's TimLoss87, and I'm currently live right now, and you could be a guest. So that's kind of how it is. So I actually got to do some business. We are off this weekend from the tour because I thought, what's with towns have trick-or-treating on Halloween? My town's having it on the 24th. That's blasphemous. It's blasphemous, I tell you. Blasphemous. But But yeah, we were talking about wrestling and comedy. Went through all the news, the this that Chris Kirkpatrick. Try to do it again next Monday too. So stand-up comics to listen to: Mary Jane out in California, Keely Wolf out of Arizona, Dick Dickerson out of Michigan and Ohio. You're doing some good shit. And Louise Ariano out of St. Louis. And don't think we don't see you, Dom Carr in Alabama, kicking ass. Keep kicking ass and Dom Carr. You're making the orphans proud. You'll know what that means. Wrestling, Seth Rollins gets injured because he always does. No one's watching it apparently as much, so that may mean, why am I doing a stream about it? I don't know. I like wrestling. 40-year-olds get fucking tired and want to debate shit. We can't go to restaurants anymore and get free coffee, so might as well do it on TikTok, you know. But, Seth Rollins gets injured. He always gets injured. This dude, you give him a belt, responsibility, his body crumbles under the weight. You could punch his wife in the face with a Mack truck and she's still up the next day like, hey, WrestleMania, let's do it. Seth Rollins, a wind will blow him over. Again, if you want to be a guest, you can come over here on TikTok, TimLoss87, and talk to me about wrestling and comedy. The Vision broke up. That was pretty cool. I think the Bronze could be a big thing moving forward if they don't fuck it up. We were talking about Jey Uso, how this has been one of the worst years, even though winning the titles and all this. I just don't see his in-ring prowess. He's got less moves than Stone Cold Steve Austin now. You got a yeet, a punch, a splash, a super kick, and a pin, maybe. This isn't working out. And then we found out the Nelson ratings. People aren't watching wrestling as much as they used to, which is really bad timing for TNA, who's looking out for a new TV deal. Mark Maron in the comedy news world just finished up his podcast with his 1600th and final episode with guest Barack Obama. In a fitting nature following that, Tim Dillon had Marjorie Taylor Greene, a very outspoken Republican, who's being outspoken about the current Republican shutdown and what they want to do to insurance. And Tim Dillon's funny, so you can talk about that. You can also hear about all the comics selling their souls from the Riyadh Comedy Festival and how they're justifying that. We got Dave Chappelle saying they have more freedom of speech in Saudi Arabia than they do in America. And as Secretary of War Pete Hegseth puts more regulations on the free press, making them sign orders to come in, maybe he's on to something. I don't know. I don't know anymore. But I do know Pete Davidson probably shouldn't have took the money. That's weird. And someone even just beat up my dad. Was responsible for beating up my dad. I wouldn't take a sack lunch from him. I don't know. The counter is, wouldn't you take $1 million? No. No, I wouldn't. Because if you're smart enough, you do pull Shane Gillis, and you just sticking to your morals will be more profitable than you fucking selling your soul out. That's always been the case. You coming out saying I didn't take the money and it's dumb not to will get you more ticket sales, more fucking clout, more all this, and more monetary gain than fucking going to perform in a hot sandy beach for some Saudi princess. So, that's the fact, Jack. Hey, Beta Game, you said hi. Oh. Hi, Beta. Yeah, some comments are coming in. Very encouraging comments. I appreciate everyone. Both. Oh, we still got one. All right, cool. I was going to find a good time to head out, but this might be a good time to head out. Final words for comedy, if you have any of that, I appreciate it, but thank you.